Good evening, everybody. It's HHV the Judge. Oh, the video changed there. Wasn't that exciting? With me, Simon Holden, the Sheriff of Tippingham, live from the library. And the Judge, there he is, live from the Old Bailey.
Yes, right.
We have got a slightly different program tonight. We're only doing one race between us, but we are going to mention two other races. Now, we've got some really exciting news. You know, the Judge has been with me on this show for what feels like an eternity, but it's only a few months. We've looked at big races. We've given you loads of winners, given you loads of insight. And of course, the Judge has now got his own YouTube channel, Judge Pottage, which I know many of you have joined. But if you haven't, do go over there and have a look. And we are now taking things up a gear and doing the Judge's Weekend Verdict. Let me just explain what that is. So right at the start of the week, the Judge will use his bookmaker's cap, but of course, he's crossed the floor now to join us. The enemy, his old enemy, the punters, in our battle to beat his previous friend. But forget about that. Let's just say he's on our side now. And he's going to look at the big races. He's going to use that odds compiler hat. He's going to use that value hat. Find out where we think there's big value early and get that to you. And everybody has got it this week. So we've seen videos, we've sent out emails across the management company, across HFC and 365 Digital, our management company. And what we're going to do is let the Judge tell you what the two bets are. Many of you have had them from midweek, but there will be some people watching tonight who haven't. They both run tomorrow, one at Ascot, one at York. So if you're not on, 2 each ways and an each way double. And then we're going to have a look at this every week, these big race value punts from the Judge. So, Judge, without further ado, hope you're well. Give us what the first week's Judge's Weekend verdicts are.
Well, I'm pleased to say that they are both shortened, but they're still valuing them, both of them, I think. The first one's obviously, we do it in time order, the 240 at York. I like the looks here of Music Society. It was second in the race last year off a mark of 86. I believe there's still 16 to 1 about. I think it's still a great price. It was 15 to 2 to win the race last year. Got beat a short head by Venturas, who was 33 to 1 that day. That's been backed off the boards, which I kind of sort of mentioned. That I like the two of them there at the prices, but there's still value in this horse, and I think it's shortened still from the 16s. So I like Music Society in that one. And over to the other big handicap, the 3 o'clock. I'm just hoping he's the right side of the track, but I do like Tactical in this race. It's tipped up at 14s. I believe there's a little bit of 10 still about. I still think anything around that sort of price. I wouldn't take anything less than 8s, the way I'd look at it. I could still see it going off sort of 7 to 1, 13 to 2, 6 to 1, around that sort of price. He was unlucky in the Buckingham Palace over course and distance, drawn the wrong side. He was drawn high that day. He needs to be low. I thought, Ryan, did his best on it as such, but it's got a small weight pool with the horses around it, and it was a much shorter price than those horses when they all met. And at the prices in the week, you could see that price was wrong. The other funny one, I'm not going to mention that, but we'll just leave it at that. I'm quite happy with where I'm at. Yeah.
There we go, the selection. So we've got Tactical at Ascot. You can still get 10s if you're not on. Many of you are on these at bigger prices. You got sent these earlier in the week. The Music Society still at 16, so there are 2 each ways and an each way double. At the launch of something really exciting.
That's right. Sorry, I should have said. Yeah.
It's all right. That's what I'm here for. But one of my main skills. The Judge's Weekend verdicts. Remember where you heard it first. Now we go to our standard week. But remember, if you're not on those, get on them tonight. Definitely. We're going to look at one race. It's a Group 1. It's one of the great races. It's the King George. It's where the 1.5 miles, usually the top older horses meet, usually the Derby winner. Not this year. Unfortunately, Desert Crown is injured, and news released today he's going to miss the Juddmonte.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to see him again. I hope I'm being a bit doom and gloom. I wonder if we're going to see him again. But we do have the Irish Derby winner. We have the mighty Mishrif, who at one stage was the highest rated middle distance horse. We have Emily Upjohn, who was second in the Oaks and got Frankie lots of grief, but he's back on. We've got the Art winner, Torquato, Tasso. We've got Broome, who won last time for Coolmore. Yeah, Broome jokes. Can't even be bothered.
I was going to say it's going to clean up. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, Sooty and Sweet, but they're big fans of it. And Piledriver, the Enigma, That is Piledriver. Of course, when horses are described as enigma and whatever, that means sometimes they are rubbish, sometimes they're good. It's a nice way of saying it. So what we're going to do is, instead of like judge's view, my view, we're going to go through every horse in the race. There's not that many, although there has been a couple of King George's lately, Judge, where we've had like 3-4 runners. So thank God we've at least got an each way play in this. There are 6 runners go to post. It's 1.5 miles. It's a class 1. It's going to be run on proper fast ground, good to firm, good in places. We've had a bit of rain here in Ascot, just taking a little bit of the sting out of the ground, but it'll still be lively-ish. We're going to go from the bottom of the market to the top. So we're going to start with number 3, Piledriver, who I've just said he's an enigma, but the horse of a lifetime for Willie Muir. I mean, he really has been amazing. He's won 6 races from 7 furlongs to 1.4 miles. And my long-term clients will remember we had it right off on this as a 3-year-old when he kept winning at York, and he kept winning at big prices. Because people thought it was Willie Muir against Godolphin and Coolmore, and we had some great fun. So this horse owes HFC nothing. Like I say, he's won 6 races, 7 furlongs to 1.4 miles. He's won on all sorts, from firm to soft to the sand. Last time out, he was 2-1 favourite in the Group 1 Coronation Stakes. So he was expected to win a biggie, and he got beat. He got absolutely royally stuffed by Hookham, who's since injured. Hookham, who would have come here. So many will see him as a big price. You can get 28-1, which is the biggest price in the village at the moment. First 2 places. I'm going to say what I think first. I think this is probably flying a little high. He has won at Ascot, and Ascot's one of my Holden's Golden course form courses. So, I just don't think, if you can't get within 4.5 lengths of Hookham, and of course he won that race last year, so he does like Epsom. He's won a 1 mile 4. He was the reigning champ in the Coronation Cup. I cannot see how you're going to get near the likes of Mishrif tomorrow. So it's with a heavy heart. I love the horse, but I think the Piledriver is really likely to be nowhere tomorrow. Am I right, or am I being negative, Judge?
To be fair at the price, I think I will be having a very small bit of stake money on this horse as it happens, especially at 28.
Okay.
I mean, it's favourite to win the Coronation Cup. It's 2-1. Once again, it's always a recency bias. I always like to look against recency bias, because you can get a price on horses that underperform. I believe Frankie got a bit of got a mauling on this day as well for the ride he gave this to Cheltenham. I got jumping on the mind.
It probably is going to run in the Supreme Novices next year.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, it's a lovely old horse, and if you actually look at the racing, I think it's in Dubai. He hasn't got a lot to find with Mishrif on a couple of runs. There's definitely one run that I can see. I just think 28-1. It's one of them ones I'd be feeling a little bit ill if I don't put a token just to make a small profit on it, especially at that price. I'm not knocking him out. The big key to him is how it goes in the first 3 or 4 furlongs, because he pulled far too hard in the Coronation Cup. Can be very keen. And if something else can go on and he can settle, I do think he could run well above his odds. Yeah, PJ McDonald takes the ride, and he's got a big day tomorrow. If he gets this right and it runs well, he's announcing himself. Well, I'm not saying he's a well-known and well-regarded jockey. They don't get rides in Group 1s very often, do they?
This is Premier League time, isn't it? Yeah. So there you go. Judge is a bit more confident than me. He's going to have a little saver on this. We then come to top of the shop, number 1. It's Broome, now age 6. By Australia out of an acclamation mare. This horse has won 8 races. I mean, we're looking at the 2 outsiders, and between them, they've won lots and lots of top races. It gives you an idea about the level of this race, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, he's won from a mile.
End of the market, won't we? On that basis.
Exactly. He's won from a mile to 1.5 miles. He's won over course and distance. He's won on all ground. He won last time here at the festival, beating Mostardaf by 3.5 lengths. Now, Broome was one of the highlights for Aidan O'Brien of the year, really. He's had a quiet year on the top middle distance race in front. I'm going to actually continue my negativity. I just think really that was a sort of, to use a football analogy, that was a top championship or Premier League relegation scrap compared to these guys he's racing against. To me, he's failed when he's come up against the really big boys. I can't have him even at 20s. I think Broome is not going to clean up Judge tomorrow.
Yeah, I had to do that joke when you mentioned the name.
Yeah.
Couldn't resist it.
Yeah. People wish we had resisted it.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, mate. I've got to be honest. Obviously, I looked at I do like to look at last year's race for any of the races I study, and I'm sure you're the same. And obviously, last year's race, Broome really did get well beaten by Mishrif in this race last year. Bit like you, I just think he's just below this class. I think he's one great one to wear. But I do think he's got his work cut out here. I can't see him struggling. I can't see him being involved in the first two, in my opinion. So the form of that Hardwick has really taken some knocks, isn't it?
It has. And I mean, when we go by the book here, he's rated 118.
Yes.
Piledriver is rated 119, yet Broome is a much shorter price with many bookmakers. Now, for me, that's a classic Aidan O'Brien versus Willie Muir thing that's slightly unfair.
Absolutely.
If you do fancy Piledriver, you're getting a bigger price than Broome for a horse that the handicapper, the official rating is 119. So that's interesting. And that makes me fancy Broome even less to know that stat. Now things getting interesting now, because I've dismissed the top two. Judge hasn't been quite as harsh as that. He thinks Piledriver's got a sneaky saver in him. We now come to the next horse in the betting, of which you can get 10-1. Now, he is the reigning Arc champ, the 1.5 miles, what many see as the world's premier 1.5 mile race, certainly Europe's, the Arc de Triomphe. He won it fair and square. He won it on very different ground to this. He's 10-1. He's rated officially 123. He's the second highest rated horse in the race. And, he's trained by Marcel Weiss and he's ridden by René Pajczelek. Now, for many, they are not household names in the UK racing. If you're being cruel, you'd say they're not household names in their own house. But the fact remains that, the horse did the business. You can't fluke an Arc. You just simply can't. There are no bad Arc winners. And I put it to you, Judge, that 10-1 is not just an insult. It's a slap in the face. It's a spit in the face. It's another example of a kind of any horse that's not British or French or Irish being massively undervalued by the bookmakers. Now, he's won 6 races, 1 mile 3 to 1 mile 4. Everybody keeps saying when they preview this race that he won the Arc on very different ground. But what they failed to mention is the horse has won on good ground in a quick time. So I don't think he's going to get there and be unbalanced or hate the ground. Yes, if it was very, very soft, I'm sure he'd be going in there 9-2, not 10-1. But it's a misnomer to say this horse needs heavy ground. He does not. Last time out, he won a Group 2 in a real hat canter by 3.5 lengths. That was obviously to get him right. The trainer's been very, very clear that his target was to come here and then defend his Arc crown. So he's had 2 races already, 3 weeks ago. He ain't going to win through lack of fitness. He'll be ready to rumble tomorrow. And I think 10-1 for the reigning Arc champ. And I'll come to why. Well, I'm going to say now I'm against the top 2 in the market. So I think 10-1 is outrageous value. I'll be having a very large each way bet on Torquato Tasso tomorrow. Am I right, Judge? Am I wrong?
Well, I think you're right, really, to be honest, especially at 10-1. I mean, I do love the fact this horse is coming to the King George a year after winning the Arc. It's fantastic. Isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, because this race has seemed, I'm going back when I'm a bit younger. This race was a massive race. It's not so much in recent. Glad to see the Derby winner last year. But this horse, I mean, you look at the Arc it won. It beat Tarnawa, Hurricane Lane at the time. They beat all the right horses. All the right horses were second, third, fourth. It wasn't like you said, a fluke. Yes, it was soft ground. Yes, possibly it had, being German bred, and all this thing. But you're getting 10-1 basically. Also, that you think might not go on the going. I mean, I'm quite happy to take a chance with that on that basis. Please, thank you very much. So,
but why wouldn't he go on the going?
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, but I mean, this is the kind of thing. If you remember, with the eclipse, the French horse. It was 6-4 in the morning. And so it might not go on the going. All of a sudden, when I'm at the 3-1, people you just got to take. You have to take a chance. If you went on everything that you think would happen, you'll be back in every favourite of every race. And so sometimes you've got to think outside the box in order to get a decent price winner. I like this horse. I think he's possibly not an each, because like I said to you, I'm quite happy. I'll have a little bit more on this one than obviously Piledriver. But I'm coming to my main bet in the race. But instead of going like each way, I'm going to have like small bet, bigger bet, and a bigger bet on the other horse that I'm going to fancy. And that way you're laying out 2 points or whatever you're laying out. You can still back 3 horses and get sort of 5-2, or depends which one wins. And I'd rather play this race this way. Like we're going to come to it. I'm really against the second favourite here, which we're going to come to, and I think the favourite's plenty short enough. So really. I'm with you, mate. I mean, I wouldn't put you off this 10-1. No way.
Big word for this Torquato Tasso. Certainly from me, and the judges certainly getting involved in his strategy to play this race. And this is a race to have a strategy, and it really, really is. We'll come to why. Because this is the 3-year-olds v the older generation, so you've got to make your decision. Now, Torquato Tasso in the art beat the winner of this last year.
He did.
Fair and square. Yeah. Now, this race was won fair and square last year by the Godolphin horse. You just remind me of its name, George. AUTHOUR, yeah. For some reason, I lost it there. AUTHOUR. Now he ran a good race in the art, but he was well beat. But he ran a fantastic race in this, and we're going to come to the horse that chased him home now, who is the horse that I think will move overnight and as the day progresses tomorrow, and I think he'll shorten. He is shortening with some firms already. That's number 2, Mishrif. Now, Mishrif at one time was the highest rated middle distance horse in the world. I was at York last E-Ball meeting, and his performance in the Juddmonte was absolutely spellbinding. Over 1 mile 2. So this was the race he went to after being runner-up in the art. He was spellbinding that day. He's the highest rated horse in the race, yet he's third favourite. Excuse me, you can get some 7-2. John Gosden trains. He was last seen as a very, very unlucky third in the Eclipse. And he comes here 3 weeks later. James Doyle takes the ride. The owners have parted ways with David Egan. No offence to David Egan, but I wouldn't have thought it would be a negative in many people's eyes that the Doyler is now on this horse. He's won 7 races from 1 mile to 1 mile and 4, including like world championship races in Saudi, in Dubai, wherever. He's won on good to firm to heavy and on the all-weather. He is an absolute globe-trotting machine. He was unlucky last time. I do think he's way, way too big a price. Obviously, I've given my bet to Torquato Tasso, but I should be doing a decent reverse forecast on these two as well. Torquato Tasso and Mishrif. I can really see these two scrapping it out in the last half furlong. I think he's too big. I know you fancy him strongly, probably for a few of those reasons, Judge. But yeah, Mishrif, way too big for me at 7-2. I think he'll short.
Yeah, I think 7-2 is way too big. He should definitely be second favourite in my opinion. You could argue it could be closer, even closer still to the favourite. But I mean, you can't beat course and distance form, which obviously it has got. Look, its best form is probably at 1.25 miles. It's a bit of a job to know where the pace is going to be in this race, which might help this. Obviously, you think Broome will probably make it, But they're not going to completely ruin their chance by going off too fast. And this, if it was to become a little bit more tactical, this is the horse that's got the better speed than anything else in the race. It's like you say, second to AUTHOUR last year. It's got some great, the Verdine. I didn't realise how unlucky it was in the eclipse, actually, when you watched it back. I did think possibly it'd have been I don't think it's a cut and dry job that the other one would have won. You know, it'd have been a lot closer, put it that would have been an interesting race. Nothing went right for it. I think the key to this horse is the going as well. It does like good ground or better. Its worst runs is when there's some cut in the ground. So it's got its going. You could probably say it wants 10 furlongs, but I'm not worried about the 12, if I'm really honest. It's got to be there or thereabouts for me. I think anything that beats this horse will win the race. I think the worst it'd do would be second. I think it's bang solid. So he's my likely play in the race. So I'll probably, for example, like I said, if I lay out 2 points, I'll probably have like 1 1/4 on this one, half a point on the second one, and 1/4 on the outsider. Lay out 2 points, go win only. You know, if I don't fall on the winner, it's like laying the front 2 almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of way I'm looking at it. So I'm pretty sweet on Mishrif, mate. I do like it.
Yeah. We now come to the second favourite. I don't believe it will go off second favourite. I believe Mishrif will. And that is trained by John and Thady Gosden, as well as Mishrif, and ridden by Frankie Dettori, who must be the quickest person in history to get his job back. They almost released him. They almost released, it was shortest sabbatical. Yeah, they released a press statement to say he'd been fired, and then the next day announced a press conference, announced he was back. So I'm glad Frankie's back. He got some right stick for getting beaten in the Oaks. Now, here's the thing. We're going to talk about these two horses together. You've got 3-1 second favourite, the 3-year-old filly Emily Upjohn, second in the Oaks. Unlucky. Whatever. We come to the favourite, number 5, Westover. He comes here after finishing third in the Derby and sluicing up in the Irish Derby. Now, the market has centred on these two, I think mistakenly. Now, I'll deal with both of them first, Judge, then I'll come to you, because I think a lot of the arguments against them are intertwined. Now, Emily Upjohn was beaten at Epsom. She was beaten by Tuesday. Tuesday went on to run in the Irish Derby, which many saw as quite a bold move. Many now see it as a rather bizarre move because the horse was royally stuffed out of sight. And Westover, you've got to be fair, the horse, I don't know whether he did improve or whether the Irish Derby was so poor that he put in a similar performance, maybe a bit better than he did at Epsom. And that was enough to win by 7 lengths, beating a horse called Piledriver. Now, I wouldn't have thought Piledriver is what, mate?
Easy for you to say. So
exactly. That's my gag. That I'll do that one time. Yeah. David Baddiel's brother, Piledriver. Yeah. Now, I wouldn't have thought the connections of Piledriver thought of supplementing him for the King George. Put it that way. Tuesday was well beat. Now, the form line suggests to me that if the Oaks form can be held as genuine, I cannot see how Emily Upjohn can beat Westover. I just cannot see that form line being held up. So I cannot see why Emily Upjohn is 3-1, because the form of the Oaks has already been, for me, devalued at the highest level by the winner. I just don't see it at all. I don't think it was a strong Oaks. I don't think this crop of 3-year-old fillies are very good, not just because of the Irish Derby blowout by Tuesday. I think there's other clues that is the case. She's been rated 117. I can't see it. I really, really can't. I thought that the race at York she won before the Oaks, that has not worked out. I think she was visually impressive, but I don't think the form is that strong. So that brings me then to the favourite, Westover. He was third in the Derby. We don't know how good that Derby is. We have to take it a little bit on trust because we haven't seen the winner since. All we've seen is him go to Ireland and be impressive. But there are people who've done reports on that. There are people who were there who say that would be one of the weakest Irish derbies that they've seen. Now, you can't knock the horse for winning it. But what we have to say is this is a race at the very highest level. This is nearly as good as it gets. This is only one notch down from the Arc. And horses like Mishrif and Torquato Tasso have proven themselves in the world's top top races. And Westover and Emily Upjohn have got to go out and prove that. And I would rather take proven form against potential. I know people say it's got an Irish Derby. She was second in the Oaks. They have got proven form. But this is the very, very highest level. And I think they are worth laying and taking on tomorrow. I want to take both of them on with the next two. So I know you're dead against Emily Upjohn, but to be honest, Judge, I want to get the pair of them.
Yeah. So is it? Am I ready to go? Yeah. Look, it's not much more. It's not much more I can add. Yeah, but there is as such. First things first. Let's just take. I genuinely don't think that was Tuesday's running. If I'm really honest, but so to use it completely as a guide, like it just didn't. It just doesn't sit with me that she was that bad. You know, I'm not saying that for 1 minute that she didn't run, but if you actually look at the Oaks, I thought the Oaks was a good race coming into it, and I thought the Derby looked a bit of a. We spoke about it. Looked a bit of a one-horse race. Yeah. We mix up, but it's actually been proven now. The substance of the Oaks' form, right? Nashwa come out and won the French Oaks, but she didn't bolt up, did she? She sort of fell in, and then you got Concert Hall got beaten well, I shouldn't say a rubbish race, got beaten a race in America. Then you get the also rans. There's hardly anything come out of the race that's done any good. You know, they're all getting beat. So I think the fifth got slaughtered. Kawilda got slaughtered in the race. So I don't like that form at all. So that's why I wanted to be against that. She was about 5-2 the other day. I mean, she's 3-1. I mean, for me, she should be 5-1. And I don't like backing unlucky losers at short price. My big point I was coming to, it's all about price, and you understand this. If you were getting value on possible improvers and taking a chance on an improver and getting 10-1 then, but here you're sort of like assuming that the 3-year-olds are much better. I don't know. Exactly. I certainly don't. I don't like Emily Upjohn, and then we're going to come to the Derby form, like you. I mean, if you look at the Pismadale, didn't obviously got slaughtered next time out, but Boundless Ocean did come out of the race and won a Group 3. So it's that's all you've got to work from the Irish Derby. So okay, the Derby form. There's been winners, quite a few winners out of the race, few disappointments. A lot of my colleagues think Westover would have done the Derby. I can't have it. I thought Desert Crown had it. Won all ends up and went to. Yeah, I think it's the best horse in the race. It's a shame it's got injured because we'll never be able to prove that. I've got a feeling like you, it won't not run again. I hope I'm proven wrong. But once again, you go looking at 6-4. I mean, 6-4. I mean, I should have checked. Well, I can't remember what price Adiyar was last year, but I'm pretty sure he was more than 6-4.
Yeah, he won the Derby hard and late, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he won the Derby. You know, do you know what I mean? So. It's once again these visual things of slightly unlucky in running. Let's add another couple of lengths on that. And I'm like you, rather than laying the front two, I'd rather back 3 against it. I mean, you know what's going to happen. Broome will win. That's life. But I think this is a way you can get some value out of the race. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But I think at the prices, I'd rather split my stakes the way that I have. And I've waffled enough. I think I'm with you all the way here, mate.
Yeah, so we're both taking on the front two. The judges splitting his stake. Small bet Piledriver, bigger bet Torquato, Tasso, and his main bet on Mishrif. I'm going to back Torquato, Tasso, heavy duty each way, and I'm going to do some reverse forecasts with. Well, not going to do some. I'm going to do 2. That's all you need to do. Torquato, Tasso, Mishrif. So there you go. We're going to see, and I keep coming back to it. Proven form over potential. You've got 2 world champions in Torquato, Tasso, and Art Winner, and Mishrif, who's been there, done it, got a variety of T-shirts. If horses can have T-shirts, so
they're 10-1 and 7-2, Si, aren't they? You know
exactly. So for me, whatever happens, we bet on what we know already, and for me, that is the way to play this race. So there you go, folks. We've gone on, but it's a huge race. I hope you all enjoy it. And remember, you've got the judges' weekend verdict. You've got tactical, still get 10s. Many of you are on at bigger, and you've got Music Society, still get 16. So it's week 1 of the judges' weekend verdicts. We're really excited. We're taking things up a notch now, Judge. We will be back on Monday on the judges' channel, Judge.
Brilliant. Yeah, look forward to it.
Looking at
there's a couple of duels running tomorrow.
Yeah, check out that. It's on his channel, Judge Pottage. Join it. Give him a thumbs up every Monday. Looking back at the weekend, yeah, there is some horses out again, and I will be back on Sunday morning. So have a great weekend. Enjoy the King George. Good luck tomorrow, Judge. I'll see you on Monday, mate. And let's hope we're proved right, and you have a great day. So thanks a lot, mate. See you Monday.
Be lucky, mate. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.